Welcome to Havencrest. I'm Alan St. George, and we are in the Sculpture Salon, which is one of 27 rooms you can view here. But today I want to talk about an experience that happened here at Havencrest in 1980. And my late wife and I were working on a room called the breakfast room. It was the middle of the day. And we're just doing our work. We're chatting. She's sitting in a big rocking chair, a stuffed rocking chair. And I'm working on the room. I'm making a niche that's going to hold a sculpture in the future. Here's the sculpture. It's a bust of her that I gave her for our 11th anniversary. It's of Copia, the goddess of abundance. So we're working on the room, and I'm going to take a bathroom break. And so this story has it's a very ordinary beginning. I go to take a bathroom break. I leave the breakfast room, and just through one door, you're in this gallery, which has photos, family photos, and our Christmas cards on the wall that we did every year and sent to our friends and our relatives to show them what we'd been up to for the year. Usually it was showing a room we had just completed. So I go through the doorway out of the breakfast room, and then there's another door to the powder room. So I step out of the breakfast room and I step into the powder room, and as I'm closing the door behind me, these two saucer-shaped objects come right through the open door and follow me into the room, and they're hovering right here at my chest height. And I'm staring at these objects that are emitting light. They're glowing, and they're spinning, and they're kind of wobbling. And I tried to get the AI to illustrate this, but it didn't get the wobble. But a small detail, I suppose, because basically the image you're looking at is pretty much what I saw. So they're hovering here, and they're about the size of my fingertips if it were a circle. I described them as like the size of a salad plate. My wife was famous for collecting china, so not a dinner plate, but a salad plate size. And almost like as if you glued two shallow bowls at the rims. So it had that kind, not flat, but this kind of dimension, round from above, of course. So here they are. They just followed me in the room. And they're right here. And they're spinning, and they have all these little lights around them, but like little flashes of color, really. Little sparkles, like a diamond or a prism. Little flashes of turquoise and yellow and pink and magenta and blue, green. And they're also wobbling, just a little bit. And they're kind of together, like almost like they're attached. They're just together right here, but they're hovering right here at my chest. I'm looking down at them, and I'm just thinking, what in the world am I seeing? How did they get in the house? And then what's going to happen next? So I look away because you're trying to figure out what you're looking at. And you know how you see like a retention of light sometimes? You go from a bright space with bright lights into a darker room, like this was the powder room, a much dimmer room. So you might see like a light bulb still, you know? But I know how that works. First of all, didn't really look like a light bulb. But your monkey brain is trying to compute, because you're just kind of in shock, really, and kind of in awe, and just trying to figure it out. You know, real head scratcher, so to say the least. And so I look to the side because I'm thinking, like, you know, you can see things in the corner of your eye. So I look to the side because your brain is just scrambling to come up with something. But you know, I could see out of the corner of my eye that they were still hovering there where they were. They had moved, just spinning there and wobbling. So now I turn and look back again, and okay, they're a real thing, and it's not a retention of light, not even close. And then suddenly the two of them, they're kind of together like this, and together they just go as a pair. Whoosh. They go through the wall, the mirrored wall, right through, and disappear. I never saw them again. I never have seen anything like that before or since. And it's just one of those anomalies that a paranormal kind of, I can't explain what that was. And since that time, we've had all kinds of disclosures and things, like the one in 2017 that the New York Times did, and 2023 before Congress, the hearings from our government, some people from the military, and other really well-respected people have talked about what we know. They're finally revealing things, but I have never heard anyone tell a story like this, where these small ones come inside a house and then disappear through a wall. It makes no sense. So if anyone out there has seen any kind of paranormal thing like this, please put it in the comments below, because I would love to know. In fact, I'm thinking of going to MUFON at the end of this month, and I would really love to talk to people there and, and get this on the record, even though it was a long time ago. It makes me think of how multi-layered this universe is. There's things going on right here in this room right now that I can't see, but they're still happening perhaps. And maybe this was a glitch where like something appeared from another one of those planes of existence and then left again. It was here long enough for me to be puzzled by it. I think of the great Joseph Campbell, who would talk about faith and the mysteries through the ages that man has experienced and puzzled over and tried to figure out the explanations for, and all the different aspects of spirituality and religion. But then if you don't have those mysteries, if everything is somehow solved for you, then what is the purpose of faith, he says. And then I think also of the great Shakespeare line from Hamlet, where he's talking to Horatio, and he says, there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy. That's how I feel about it. So if anyone's had an experience like this, or any kind of paranormal experience that's similar to this, it's an anomaly beyond anything I've ever had before or since. And I've had some in it. Maybe I'll talk about some of the other ones which are not in this category, but they're paranormal nevertheless. And so if you're interested in this, leave a comment. If you don't like this type of thing, there's so much to talk about here at Havencrest. But this one, I just felt like, even though I had to think about it, should I reveal it? Should I even mention this to people? Listen, if military pilots can come forward, people who are respected, people who really their jobs require that you have confidence in them, if they can talk about it, some artist who people don't take seriously anyway, I've had my career. It's no risk for me. I'm already thought of as eccentric. I live in a big house with a lot of interesting rooms, and talking about anomalies like this, just no risk at all for a guy like me. But I thought I'd put it on the record. And so if you're interested in this type of thing, leave a comment. I have other stories. And also, please tell me yours, because especially if you've had this, where these small flying saucers come inside the house and then disappear. We didn't have drones in 1980 that I know of, but maybe we did. Maybe our military did. They always have things decades before we do, don't they? So maybe there were some experimental drones, but how would it be in the house, and how does it disappear through a wall? So was that the future? 46 years ago, was that the future? You know, here we are in 2026 looking back at it. And I can say, well, it's about the size of a drone maybe, but it still doesn't make any sense. So a mystery, one of the many, many mysteries that we have in this fantastic world we're all living in. So thank you for watching, and thank you for liking, and subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time.